All right, here with Kolby Cooper, long overdue. I feel like we've been talking about you, even just at the office, and for a long, long time. And I actually wanted to start with that. One thing we would always talk about, we've talked about this on the podcast a bunch, about mainstream artists who actually can't quite sell tickets.
Yeah.
And you got you guys out of Texas who can definitely sell tickets. And you're young as hell. I just turned 22, I believe.
Yeah.
And we would compare your streaming numbers within the last few years, even when you were still technically a teenager, probably.
You were a young spring chicken.
Yeah. We were comparing these numbers to a lot of big names, a lot of people that are on major labels for a long time, and you blow them out of the water. And I think that's a testament to your fan base and just how passionate they are about your music. It's got to be kind of crazy to see those numbers on streaming these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, so a couple years ago, we released our first song when I was 18. Yeah, so I was 18, and then we released volume 1 like 2 months later. And I mean, even from the get-go, like the numbers weren't crazy, but for us just starting, it was like, holy shit, like we'd seen a lot of our buddies release music and we kind of expected this, and then we got just this huge organic push. And then luckily Spotify jumped on when they saw it doing well, and it's just been like since then. And it's been really cool to watch, and I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah. It got you a record deal. Newest recording artist of Broken Bow Records.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bunch of stuff that I never thought was gonna happen has happened already. So it's been fucking awesome.
I love it. I was about to tell you before we record, like, feel free to curse and everything, because this is a...
Yeah, you can say fuck, shit, ass, tits, cock, balls.
I've seen y'all's tweets and shit. I wasn't really...
Okay. But we did find out there are some limitations, like when you would monetize videos. Was it on Facebook or whatever?
Yeah, I think we made it past... We made it past the 1 minute mark without saying fuck.
Yeah.
So we're good on the monetization.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But, yeah, I mean, even just your Twitter account, you retweet a lot of the fans. The fans are passionate about your newest song, Excuses. Writing that song, where did the idea come from for the newest release?
Oh, so I wrote it with Jordan Walker and a guy named Brett Tyler, both out of Nashville.
Yep.
And we sat down in the room that morning, and Brett was like, "Hey man," like we were pitching ideas back and forth all morning, and finally he was like, "Yo, dude, I have this idea called Excuses, like this is the gist of it." And I was like, dude, no fucking way. Like my guitar player literally 3 days ago like had this girl that he was real big like with, and she was cool as shit, and everybody was like, all right, bet, like this is gonna be the girl. And then like 2 days later he came to a bus call, and he was all sad, and we're like, what's wrong, man? He was like, this morning she told me that we just weren't meant to be together, and that she was just going to break my heart, and I was too good for her, and she wasn't ready for a relationship. And I was like, ugh, like that sucks, man. And 3 days later, she was with a rich dude in Dallas. You know, the typical story. So it was
that's like a typical Dallas story.
What's her name?
Oh yeah. Whew, can't say that.
Cancel her.
Yeah, I think she low-key knows, for sure knows
the song's about her.
Yeah. Hey, she's cool though. She just fucked over my homie. So yeah.
Isn't that I'm trying to remember all the lyrics, but is there a part on there about like, or maybe not, but when somebody's excuse is, oh, things are going too fast, or like,
yeah,
I never understood that. It's like everything the relationship is going so well that it's going so fast that they're like, whoa, I got to break up with you.
This is too good.
This is what you want. This is what you want in a relationship, people.
Like, imagine that in any other scenario. Like, if you're at your job and like you're just making so much more money every day, it's like, okay, hold on, let's just take a step back and reevaluate.
Right? Who was the comedian that made fun of Tiger Woods with the sex scandal? And he was like, he's like, there's no sex addiction. It's because he got caught. And he goes, what single guy is knocking on the door? I can't remember the comedian. He's like, what single guy is knocking on the door of a sex clinic being like, guys, I'm getting too much ass. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's just like a guy with a family that gets caught with.
Is it Bill Burr?
It might have been Bill Burr.
I think it's a Bill Burr.
Yeah, it might have been Burr.
Bit,
it's so spot on though. It's just like
it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, got caught. Whatever.
Well, it's funny because one of the Twitter comments was like, "Bro, you write so many like breakup songs, sad songs, like Who Hurt You?" And it's like, oh, that's inspiration for that one is my guitar player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been married since I was 8 or 19. You know, so I haven't had much life. I haven't had many life experiences as far as heartbreak, but I've got a lot of friends who have shitty relationships, and I feel like it's easier on me that way because then I'm not sad and I'm just trying to help my friend out. You know,
is writing a song that way? I could see that being a pretty solid way to kind of go about writing a song, even if it's not affecting you, but you're around it. It can still it still probably resonates pretty deeply, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's still like I think it's still pretty easy to kind of put yourself in that mindset of like, man, I just got fucked over, like, you know, at least for the few hours that you're writing, and then you're out of it. And I call my wife, I'm like, hey babe, listen to a song I just wrote. Like, it's definitely not about you, but check it out. You know,
right.
Is she ever like,
oh yeah, there's been a few times
we gotta talk.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna show you this song, but I just want you to know that we're okay, and I love you a lot.
That's happened to me with tweets. And my wife's seen tweets. I was like, relax. I know I know I'm exaggerating on what, like, I'm trying to make people laugh. Like,
oh, dude, same. I've tweeted some shit that like I'll just be chilling, and it just like hits me. I'm like, I'm gonna tweet it, and then my wife texts me like, "Hey, are you okay?" Right. I'm like, yeah, like I'm not sad or anything. I just thought it would be cool as shit, and it was cool as shit.
Yeah, and
like people identify with it, and they kind of like, oh, they like see themselves in that, and it's like, oh, this guy gets me. This, you know,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a public service.
Yeah, trying.
Yep.
Some would say.
One of the songs on your album, Tom Petty, you have a bit of a rock and roll influence. On your bio, you cited Cross Canadian Ragweed, Waylon Jennings in the country world, but you know, both artists with a little bit of rock flavor. Is rock and roll something that kind of informs your sound and kind of the way you write?
Absolutely. I think I mean, I would say probably 75 to 80% of what I listen to is what people would call as in the rock genre. And I still listen to a lot of country, but it's definitely a big influence. And I mean, I think you can hear it in our music and in most of it, at least. But I think you can also hear the country influence in some songs, which is what I guess my goal was from the beginning, was to be able to have a song that sounds like it could have been on a rock record, and then a song that sounds like it could have been on a 80s or 90s country record. Yeah. And I think we really did that with this next project. I'm fucking pumped about it.
Speaking of, one of the tweets was asking about that. Any news on the new album? I know you probably guys, sounds like the label, you guys haven't officially released the info on it, but a new album is coming.
Absolutely. We have the date. I can't really, I guess, tell the date yet, but I can tell how it's going to happen. And
you kind of can.
Yeah, I kind of can. So we released Excuses on the 25th of June. We're releasing one more single in a couple weeks, which is the title track, and then we're going to release a part 1 with 6 songs, including the 2, and then we have part 2, which will be just the full length altogether. Nice. We don't have the release date on that yet, but we do have the release date on the others, and it's pretty soon.
Awesome. The you're talking about rock music, and speaking of rock stars, you toured with Koe Wetzel, who country rock. He's like a rock star. He did say on our podcast, was it when he turns 30, Wes, he wants to make a country album for his mom. Yep. So we're gonna hold him to that, but a true country album. Yeah. But I mean, that guy, I mean, one of the sweetest guys we've ever met, but then an absolute animal when it comes to drinking. We had him on the podcast, and then we went to a pregame with him before the show in Chicago a while back. I was blind. Like I couldn't see my hand in front of my face by the time he was about to go on stage. I'm like, I can't even be here. Like, I'm gonna embarrass myself. I can't even see the stage. We're on the stage. We're basically on the side stage. I don't even know where I am at. And this guy, I don't know if there's anybody that's ever gotten close to that with where we were, because we pride ourselves on being those guys a lot of times back in the day.
Yeah.
And you're like, this guy's an animal, but it's impressive because he holds it together.
Oh, it's insane. He's I've only blacked out a couple times, and both times it was on tour with him. The first time it was on Rumplemints in Lovely, and that was, I mean, so the guitar player that kind of inspired Excuses, it was like a sick show with us, and we're just in the front lines chilling. I had my arm around him, just talking to him, and then I don't remember any of this, and I fucking just throw up down the front of his shirt, and I'm like,
after the show?
Well, I mean, oh yeah, it was after the show. Yeah. This is like 2 a.m. Like bus is fixing to leave, and we're all partying still. And I guess they got me back in the back and put me in bed. But I woke back up and crawled to because there was a bathroom in between the all the beds and then the back lounge where I was. And I crawled to this bathroom and I just hugged the toilet and threw up for about what felt like 7 hours. But it was like 30 minutes, and I just passed out on the floor, and I woke up, and I was like, fuck, dude, like we were moving, and I don't remember leaving. Like I woke up, I think because my head kind of bounced and hit the fucking floor, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, oh God, I gotta throw up again. So I leaned back into the toilet, and I'm just sitting there like hugging, and the toilet is facing back. And I'm sitting there just hugging it, and the driver's slamming the brakes, and I fucking like right into the wall. It was a horrible night. And the other time we played a private party, and I'd never really been much of a day drinker, but we got there at like 10 o'clock and immediately started drinking, and we were in the pool all day, and the show was like 8:30 that night, and I don't even remember playing the fucking show. Like I swear to God, dude, I was hungover before we left. Like we left at like 3 that night. We were drinking Mad Dog 2020 all day. And I left at 3 a.m. already hungover. And I was like, holy shit, like I've never been hungover before I went to sleep. And it was the worst 3 days of my life.
There's so many things within those two stories. I mean, first of all, if you're puking and then you start moving, is there any worse situation I can imagine? And then it's because of Rumplemints. No. Holy shit.
Can you puke on the bus? Because I know a lot of times you're not supposed to shit on the bus. So I imagine you don't really.
You got no choice.
I mean, you can hold this shit, but throw up's a little different. I think they'd rather you throw up in the toilet and throw up on the floor at least. It's probably not they probably don't love it, but you know, it is what it is.
And what's the private show experience like? Because I feel like we've heard quite a few artists, especially in the last year, talk about doing private shows when, you know, people weren't really playing them. Is that like, are you just at some like rich guy's house? Like,
no, I mean, normally it's just at some rich guy's house. And that's a perfect, the perfect way to put it. But we've played a few of them, and they're always fun as shit. Like we get there normally around like 11 or 12, and they'll load in everything, or if it's acoustic, we'll just kind of hang out at their house and hang out with the people all day and then play a show for them and leave. And it's normally really chill. We've played some also that were fucking like nightmares. So there's a very, very wide spectrum.
Well, yeah,
do tell.
Well, yeah. Are you able to tell any funny stories out of that? You don't have to name names, but
yeah, I mean, just fucking, it's just more than funny. It was just like it was just so awkward all day. Like we were trying to be homies and hang, and everybody being fucking weird. And that was pretty much the gist of it. And
like you hired me, man.
Yeah, and then by the time the show came that night, everybody was like blackout, so no one even fucking cared we were there, and we're like sick, except for like the guy that paid for it. He was sitting front stage watching us, and we're just like, what is fucking going on?
He was like, guys, I got Kolby Cooper ready to go, and they're like, cool. And then
they're over in the blow up hot tub, fucking playing beer pong or something.
Well, it's funny you say that, 'cause I think I just saw Parker McCullough. He posted some story. He was at like George Brett's house, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
dude, I saw that too, and I was like, what is fucking happening? Like,
is he playing over there?
Totally, I have no clue.
He's like showing the shrubs. Totally, so he's like, look how nice the shrubs are. I was like, all right,
dude, I saw that, and I watched like 8 times. I was like, holy shit,
That's a nice backyard. Like I'm at the age
Yeah.
now. I have a 1-year-old, and I know you have 2 daughters, right?
Yeah, I have one daughter that turns 3 at the end of the month, and then one that turns 9 months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats. Like when you're a dad, and Wes is going to be a dad here soon in the next couple of months for the first time, and I start paying attention to. I mean, this guy takes care of his bushes,
Yeah,
shrubs.
absolutely.
It's just like George Brett. He calling the top tier landscapers to come over and keep shit in line.
Sure.
You got Parker McComb showing it off. It should be a sponsored post. Like, who the hell did this?
It probably was. It was somebody in the hometown. But yeah, I mean, we just moved to Tyler, and we moved into a neighborhood, and I'm gone so much, like I don't normally take care of the yard. It's my wife, and I get home, and I guess we move in, and I'm just like, damn, like all these houses are so badass. Like all these yards are so nice. And our yard was nice when we moved in because the previous person hadn't messed it up yet. And I got a call last month. So I was gone pretty much all of May and all of June. And I got a call like June 15th. My wife was like, hey, just gonna let you know, I dug up the entire garden and went and bought a bunch of plastic plants because I'm not fucking taking care of them anymore. And I got home, there's just like 6 plastic little plants sitting in the mulch.
No.
Oh, hey, I mean, it
plastic.
Doesn't look,
yeah, well, you wouldn't notice. You wouldn't notice if you just like went past.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought the HOA was going to call.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say that the grass died because the sun, and then you got to take like where I live in Colorado, they do that in a lot of areas because they want to keep everything looking like
no.
So people that let their stuff go to shit, you'll get a notice in the thing like, hey, fix your grass, or your ass is fucking grass.
I mean, we haven't got a notice yet, or if we have, she hasn't told me about it. And if we have, I just hope she doesn't fucking tell me.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's probably trying to save you the stress, and she'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
She out there mowing. She's got the kids like in both hands. Like you're on the road drinking with Koe Wetzel.
No, we got fucking people coming and mowing the yard and shit. She's just got to take care of the flowers.
You got to get George Brett's guy.
I know. That's what I was gonna fucking call him as soon as we got off this podcast and be like, hey man, who you got to do in your yard because it looks incredible.
Well, speaking of moving, and you just said Tyler, but growing up, what was it, Bradford? 30 people population.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty. That's a nice little. When people talk about living in a small town, very few people can say 30 people.
Oh yeah, I got almost everyone I've ever met beat, except for like the people from Lukenbach and shit. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
but like it was awesome. So it's I think 50 minutes from Tyler, so I still live right there. But no longer with just 30 people. But I grew up there. I went to school at this little 2A called Cayuga. And I mean, I loved it. I love living in the country and growing up around not many people and knowing everybody. I think it can be really good for some people, and it was really good for me. I guess it could also be really bad for some people, but it was badass, dude. And I learned everything I know there, and I've just tried to apply it to everything I do in life.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because it's a good thing to hear, because a lot of people, you tend to hear some stories about people trying to escape that, but there's so much good that comes from it.
Yeah.
We like to ask a lot of these Texas artists similar question about Nashville. Did you ever have any thought to move there, or was that always like, no, I'm going to stay in Texas. I'll go to Nashville when I need to, but I'm a Texan. I'm going to stay in Texas.
It was always that mindset. Yeah. I'd never, honestly, until a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'd never even thought about going to Nashville for anything. And then I grew up a lot and realized like, hey, there's some pieces there you should definitely use. And I love Nashville. Like, I love the city and the people there, and they've been really good to me. But there's no place like Texas as far as I'm concerned. And I visit. I mean, I fly to Nashville once a month to go rap for a week, and then I fly back out. So we've got a place where we're getting a place in Nashville. But I mean, it's mainly just so I don't have to carry a fucking full bag every time I can leave some clothes there and shit.
Hotels and
is that the perk of having a record deal?
I guess so. I guess so, man. But Nashville's cool, but it's definitely not East Texas.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in a good spot though with Nashville too, because well, the way you're doing it, but even though you're a young guy, you seem wise beyond your years in terms of being a father and getting married at a young age and all that. So when you go, you probably don't have the same type of, if you're a single guy and you're 21 and you're heading to Nashville,
Yeah.
and you're like having some success,
Yeah.
you end up just partying your fucking ass off all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you probably had that, that thing bringing you back to reality.
Yeah.
Like, no, I got what I want. Like I'm here to work, get shit done, have a good time with some friends, and then get out. But it's not like
absolutely,
you're not getting sucked into the the culture of what it can turn into.
Absolutely, because there's a huge, obviously a huge fucking nightlife and party scene there. And like every once in a while we'll take the bus to Nashville, and like when we're already going up north, we'll just stop by and I'll bring the guys and we'll all go out and have fun. But I'm pretty good about not staying up till 6 o'clock when I'm in Nashville, and because I got to be up and right in the morning. I know I want to make the most of my time when I'm there.
Yeah. Easier said than done. We've
for
noticed.
sure.
I feel like there was a while where we were going to Nashville maybe 3-4 times a year in our like kind of our early days of Whiskey Riff, and it was just I got off the plane walking sideways, like 4 double wild turkeys, maybe a couple Bud Lights, 2 at the airport bar, 1 on the airport bar before I left the airport, arriving.
Damn.
Hey. And it's like, let's get some work done.
It's like no work gets done. You just start drinking, and it's just like the whole day goes to shit. You wake up the next day, don't even know what happened the day before.
Yeah,
that's on us. But
yeah, no, I've had a couple of those days there, and I stopped pretty quick after, because I exactly stay out real late drinking, and I'd wake up the next morning and not feel like going and fucking writing a song, and I'd go there and just be not all the way there. Felt bad for wasting other people's time.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned 80s and 90s country a little bit ago, some of your music. Who are some of your favorites from those eras? Or, we're big 90s. I'm wearing this.
Yeah.
The Chattahoochee River Rider button up, now available on shop.whiskeyriff.com. Sorry, little plug.
Hey,
shameless plug.
Dude, Chris Ledoux is one of my all-time favorites. Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee shirt, one of my all-time favorites. I think it was funny. Alan Jackson, for me, like when I was a kid, like my mom and dad always tried to get me to just listen to everything, and like I liked a couple of songs, but then a couple of years ago I was like, hey, I'm about to fucking do a deep dive in Alan Jackson, and I did it, and I was like, holy shit, like this guy is the GOAT, like fucking incredible. I love all the 90s country artists, like Tracy Lawrence, Tracy Byrd, Brooks and Dunn. There's not much that I didn't listen to. I would say it's definitely flipped. I listen to almost everything.
Do you really prefer when an artist like yourself, you're such a great songwriter, like a guy like Alan Jackson, who almost writes every single song of his, and not even just that, a lot of his songs is just him alone. Even on this new record, he's just by himself writing it, which is incredible to me.
That's so badass.
So I assume that like any artist that does that is automatically kind of has to have a kind of up there for you, right?
Yeah, I think any artist that writes their own shit, definitely it's a lot easier for me to respect it and love it. But there's also dudes like obviously George Strait,
right,
that I think there's also something to be said for those guys that can not write almost anything they do, but pick out all the songs that they record and know what's going to resonate with their fans still, and still knowing what they want. It's honestly, it feels even tougher to do.
And nail it every single time.
Yeah, exactly. I guess when you're George Strait, you're the biggest fucking artist in the country. It's easier when you're getting those songs pitched to you. But like, I think I definitely love seeing when people write their own shit. Just being a writer too. I know it's not easy, and I know it always feels cooler knowing it actually came from them. Mm-hmm. Anytime I think you see a song that someone didn't write, but they released, and like maybe if you feel some kind of like emotional like connection with that artist, like maybe if you see they don't write it, you kind of lose that a little bit.
Yeah.
But
do you have any outside cuts on the new album?
We have, I think, one song so far
Mm.
out of the 12 we've recorded, and then we have another 6 we're about to go record. But it's another one that my buddy Jordan Walker wrote with a couple of dudes, and it's badass. I normally don't cut a lot of outside shit unless I love it.
Mm.
Like anything I've ever cut that I didn't write, when I heard it, I was like, fuck yeah, like I could have wrote this. Like this is something that I want to say still.
I wanted to ask you about one of my favorite songs of yours. I was trying to see if it had the info on it on Spotify, but I'm not sure. Cannonball.
Yeah.
So like just seeing the title, right? And then if somebody doesn't know, okay, you see this long-haired country guy singing these songs, and I see that song, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be. I have no idea what to expect with that title. Thinking maybe it's gonna be a party song or some just like fun song for the summer. And it's actually a slower, more like introspective type of song, emotional. That song specifically, is that kind of, you wrote it, I assume, with some buddies, or how did that thing come about?
So I wrote that one with a guy named Ben Burgess in Nashville. And that morning, I always had this list of ideas on my phone that I bring to every ride. But that morning, I woke up and it was just like a regular day. I was in some shithole Airbnb because I don't remember what happened, but like the one we normally stayed in was booked. It was like last minute. It's all I could find. Like I'm in like a sketchy part of town. I'm like, fuck it, dude. Like I woke up and I was like leaning against the wall, taking a piss, like trying to wake up for this ride.
You're a leaner.
Well, that morning I was. It was a morning after one of those nights that I don't really have.
Some of those, that's a sit down piece sometimes.
Oh yeah,
honest to God.
Oh yeah,
I'm a big fan of the sit down piss.
If you need it, take it.
Hey, dude, everybody should do what they want.
You better be hungover. You better be hungover, or something better be off.
Yeah,
like just relax, sit there for 25 minutes, and just
But sorry, you might. Oh, you're good. No, for sure. But I was sitting there just leaning, and I was like, man, like I'm tired. Like I don't want to get up and ride. But then like I was just sitting there pissed, and I was like, fuck it, dude. Like Cannonball, like we're jumping into this shit. Like I think I was 20 at the time when we wrote it, so I was like, I guess it was a long piss. Like so I was sitting there like I was getting real deep, and I was like, man, like there aren't many 20-year-olds doing what I'm doing. Or I guess there aren't many that are lucky enough to do what I do, and there aren't many that work hard enough to do what I do. And I'm sitting there just fucking like that's going through my head, and then the word Cannonball just fucking popped in my head. I was like, man, I want to write that song today. And I went and met Ben, and Ben's a fucking awesome writer and a badass artist too. And I was like, man, I got this idea that I had this morning, this Cannonball. Like I just wanted to kind of like, if there's anyone who is going through something and they need to like just that little push to give them all the confidence, like that's what I wanted it to be. Like I want it to be like the dude that is thinking about quitting his job to go chase his dream, but he's not really sure. Like I want him to hear it and be like, fuck it, like I'm about to do this shit. And I mean, we've got a ton of DMs and shit just from people that are like, dude, this song, I wasn't gonna ask this girl out, but this fucking song was playing. I was like, I'm gonna do it, and it's been cool to see that the song did what I wanted it to do.
No, I mean, literally what you just described, that's probably why I resonated towards it. Back in the day when starting Whiskey Riff, I was trying to do the 9 to 5s, the left college of the sales, and I was miserable, like completely miserable. And finally I was like, well, you know what, fuck it. It's time for me to like do my own thing. And so that song that's spot on. And I mean, the story behind it now makes me like it even more.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, it's a true story. Like it was kind of me like taking a step back too at the same time, because obviously I released, like I said earlier, first songs we released came out when I was 18. I had just graduated high school 4 months before. I was in the middle of my last year of basics in college, and that next summer I was supposed to start nursing school. And also I just found out that my girlfriend at the time, and now my wife, was pregnant. Like there was just a bunch of shit happening, and around like April or May, like, and also like the reason I was in college still was my mom. Like, I knew she wanted me to go, and I knew that my dad would have wanted me to finish. And I was like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna go do it. And in a couple of years, I'll pick back up on this music. And then my mom came to me in like May of that year, and she was like, hey, you know, nursing school registration is like up in 2 weeks. You got to do it now or not, or you're not going to do it. And I was like, okay, like, I'll do it tomorrow, whatever. And then that next day she was just like, hey, I want to sit down and talk. I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. Like, she's about to tell me like, hey, you need to chill out. Like, you're about to have a kid. You're going to marry this girl. Like, you need to finish college. But instead she was like, hey, I can see that you don't want to go to college right now. Why don't you take a year off? You know, go work for your grandpa and try music. And if at the end of that year you feel like you know, there's something there, then just do that. And that's exactly what I did. And at the end of that year, I mean, I guess I never even looked back, because by the end of that year, I mean, it was already, we were already I mean, selling not a lot of tickets, but we were selling enough tickets to where that became my full-time job. And I don't know, that song is really special to me for that reason, I think. Just because, like you were saying, I really resonate with it too. Because if it wasn't for my mom, I never would have just said fuck it and not went to college. I would have still done it, because I was, you know, I was also in the middle of growing up a lot and getting ready for a baby. So it was like, there's no fucking way I'm about to go work for my grandpa for $10 an hour and then and support a family. But we struggled for a year, and fucking very thankful that I did it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's incredible.
You mentioned your dad, who tragically passed away, I think when you were 15, I believe.
I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
And instilled a big work ethic into you, from what we understand. And
yeah, absolutely. He was so he got diagnosed with brain cancer when I was 13, and he passed away when I was 14. I guess I was a senior in high school, or freshman in high school. And I mean, he's still this day the hardest working guy I ever knew and met. So it's, you know, I have a lot to live up to. So I gotta work hard. I mean, I saw him ever since I was little, him and my mom. I mean, the two hardest working people I ever met. I mean, when I was younger, she was working 3 jobs and he was working 2 jobs so we could, you know, live a normal life. And I didn't, you know, I mean, I guess I didn't really appreciate it then, but looking back now, like, knowing, you know, how tough that is to do, it's, you know, I've got to fucking work hard.
Yeah. It's interesting because it sounds like your mom was pretty supportive of you in a way. Yeah. But like, I think there's also this element sometimes where it's like people think you like chasing a dream is like, oh, you don't want to work hard. You don't want to go to college. And it's like, I never worked harder in my life. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. I mean, ever since I picked up a guitar at, I started playing, I guess, around 12 or so. I mean, my dad and mom were super supportive. They were wanting to hear everything that I was learning. They were wanting to hear anything that I was writing, like, which was fucking dog shit too. Like, I mean, I don't remember any of the songs,
what's the worst song you ever wrote? What's the title or
the first song I ever wrote is the worst song I ever wrote. It was called Love Song. It was called Love Song, and it was almost like a novel. There was no chorus. It was just a bunch of really stupid lines like about taking a girl to a movie or something. Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. And I was mad because my brother, who TM for me for the first couple of years, and is now he manages Pegasus and Rooftops now. Cool. He fucking took my piece of paper that I had it written down on, crumbled it up and threw it away. I was mad at him, but it also made me write more songs because I needed more to sing and I couldn't remember that one. Mm-hmm. So it kind of helped me out, but also pissed me off. But yeah, that's definitely the worst song I ever wrote.
Love Song.
For you coming up kind of, 18, 19, 20, is it hard being underage, like playing bars and stuff? Are they, because you want like a bucket of beers on stage, right? And they're like, sorry, we can't serve you technically, even though you're the headliner. How does that work?
Yeah, so like I was playing bars that were 21 and up when I was 18, 19, 20. I mean, we had a couple places that were really strict, But with this one place that literally like they had a back door to get on stage, and it was like super clogged up and really hard to get through. And it would have been way easier for me to walk up onto the front of the stage through the side door. But they said, hey, since you're 19, we're not going to let you walk in through the front door. You can only walk in on the back door of the stage and exit off the back door of the stage. You'll have to have, or we'll meet you out back to settle the show or something. So it's like, I have to like fucking, I almost knocked like our drummer's cymbals over because I'm like squeezing through this little bitty gap. And I'm like, hey guys. And the audience is just, it was a 150 cap room and it sold out like in a week. So I was really excited about it. And I'm sitting here just real awkwardly like squeezing through this side door, like, fuck, dude. And they're just like looking at me like my band's playing, looking like, oh my God, is he gonna fucking mess everything up? And I finally get there, I look at the crowd and it's just kind of like, oh, I can tell that was awkward for y'all by the way you're looking at me.
Yeah.
And
like,
literally,
who's this guy that snuck on the stage?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. Like, and then I got off the back of the stage and they were like super strict. They're like, you cannot come on the front of the stage or you're not going to come back here. And we wound up not coming back there anyways. But I mean, and we had a bunch of places that were like fucking, you know, yeah, they wouldn't let us drink, which was fine. Like, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but this one place I'll never forget. It was around Houston. It was the show was, I mean, our biggest show we'd ever played. It was like almost 1,000 people, or maybe it was 1,100 people. I don't know, but I was like fucking freaking out on stage, like, holy shit, dude! Like, this is, you know, about to be the biggest paycheck ever. Like, these people are here, fucking. This is one of my was like my favorite show I ever played at the time. So I was like, all right, like I'm singing it. Like, 4 songs left. Somebody brought a bottle of Crown up on stage, so I just started drinking it, like from the bottle, just holding it while singing. And my tour manager now, who was doing our inners at the time, was like, hey Kolby, can you please stop doing that? And I just looked at him and took a drink. I was like, what are you fucking talking about? And then I looked to the left of him and the owner standing there like, fucking cut it out.
Oh man.
And I took one more drink and I fucking set the bottle down and I was like, all right, fair enough. And the owner was really nice to us. So like he was chill after. He's like, whew, got nervous.
It's like, I go back, the whole drinking age thing is such a weird one. Like I remember when I was going to college, I got like in trouble for drinking it. I grew up in Indiana, so it was like strict where I was from, and they'll like get a high school party and they'll send you to jail, like make you spend the night. It was like it was just one of those types of places where they didn't have anything going on. They come up, yeah, they'll just go get you and take you out. But then isn't it 18 in Europe, right? Just
yeah.
And you go to Tuscany and there's a 12-year-old right now having a glass of Chianti with his pasta.
You're tall enough to reach the bar.
I mean, I think there's like there definitely should be an age. Like, I don't know if it's 12, but like, I mean, we had this foreign exchange student come from hey, where was that Caroline girl from? Sweden. She was from Sweden, I think. And like, she'd been fucking drinking since she was like 14, like just like it was normal there. And she shows up and like, of course, like the family that takes her in is like the most like right down the middle Christian values family in the world.
You're like, oh shit.
Christian Texan family.
She got kicked out after a month of living there, and moved in with maybe she moved in with my wife and her mom. I can't remember, but like they were really good friends. But it was weird like talking to her. She was like, yeah, I mean, you know, normally like after school there we'd all go get a drink at the bar or something. Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, we drive home and go do homework. Like, where are you from again?
Right. The Nordic countries, I'm telling you, like up there too. I went to Iceland, and it just seems a little different. Like the way the kids are and act. You're just like, you like meet a 15-year-old. You're like, I would trust this kid to babysit. I don't even know who it is. They just like seemed a little more put together. I mean, a 15-year-old kid here, and I was like, I don't know what the hell. Like, I wouldn't trust you to pump my bike tire, dude. Like,
right? Absolutely. It's. I mean, the drinking age being like 16 or 17 there definitely makes you grow up a little faster.
Hold on though. Like, in my opinion, the whole drinking age thing, I remember the first time I got drunk in high school, maybe, or ever, was 15 or something. And it was, I told the story before, it was like, I think we all had like we like stole some Mike's Hard Lemonade from like one of my friend's moms or something.
Yeah.
And then we all have a couple, and we're all just like, oh my god, Mike's Hard Lemonade. You know, we're 15, we're losers. Our stomach hurts from the sugar, all that stuff. But that's part of the problem. It was because it's like everybody's like, no, you're not old enough. You're not.
It's
Whereas
taboo.
like if you kind of maybe if you had a little bit, you're just like, this is gross. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You're 15. You want to go play sports. It would be outside or play
Yeah.
music like yourself or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the taboo factor that makes you like, oh, I can't have that, so I want it.
I'm gonna go sneak. I'm gonna go steal it because I'm a kid, and your dad went to work, and you're like, I'm gonna go grab a beer out of the garage, or
exactly. Like if there's like, hey, here, try this. Like it tastes like dog shit. You'd be like, oh, well, I think I want to wait. You know,
maybe, yeah, exactly.
But instead they're like, hey, you can't have this, but it's really good.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I really want that.
It's so good that you cannot have it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's funny that you mentioned your town having even having a foreign exchange student, because my town had 2,000 people in it. My high school had 300. And we had like 6 or 7 foreign exchange students. And I'm like, you guys, you're coming to the wrong town.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go somewhere else. Like, this is not America.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she came out and was living, I mean, where the place she was living at was like 5 minutes from my house. And so there's Bradford, and then there's Springfield, Bodark, Blackfoot, Cayuga, like all these little towns like right here. And she lived over in Bodark. And I'm like, you came from fucking Sweden, like a big ass city in Sweden, and you're now in a town of 30 people. Like, who fucked you over?
Right.
It's like if like Wes is Dixon, Illinois, right? So it's they get there. He's like, oh, this is just like my farm in Germany. It's like, no, we're trying to show you something else. And we thought,
we had a kid from Brazil, and we put him on the football team as a place kicker. We're like, you know, soccer, right?
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, you played football. You played high school football, I think I read, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I played every year. I really wanted to go play college football, but I decided not to my senior year. Like we had so there's me, and then our left tackle. So I'm 6'3", like 6'3.5".
Oh shit! I didn't realize how. I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have been like a defensive tackle, both, right?
I mean, so I was 6'3.5", and I weighed like 325, and I benched like almost 400 pounds. Like I was fucking like I was all in. Like at this point, like I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do music. I'm gonna go play football. I'm gonna get a fucking $10 million a year contract. Blah blah. And then I started dating my wife my senior year, and I was like, fuck playing football. Like I want to hang out with her. And I played, but our left tackle, it's like, I'm the biggest dude in high school, whatever. This dude moves in, he's homeschooled. He's 6'8" and like 380 pounds. So like I look like just like a baby next to him. And so he had all these scouts come out to watch him. And I mean, it wasn't really fair. He like I said, was homeschooled, so he'd never really played football. So he'd come watch him and be like, yeah, he's got the size. You just got to teach him. And they'd see me, and I'd fucking, So we had a lot of people that were interested, and then I just didn't want to play football anymore because I only heard bad stories about everyone that went and played college football. So I was like, fuck that. I can't play music and do that. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, and everything that's come out recently in the last X amount of years about, the brain, the CTE, all that stuff. And it's like, I mean, you took your brain somewhere else to write songs. And I mean, I think it was the right decision, obviously.
Yeah, fuck, I hope so. I don't know, maybe there's an alternate universe where I'm fucking starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys or something.
Unsung heroes are those you offensive tackles, man. It's just like that's what the
Bears could use a few.
Yeah, Wes is a Bears fan. What are you a Cowboys? Or are you a Texans? Or what do you?
Man, I hate every Houston team.
Oh, okay.
With a passion. I love the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm a big Cowboys fan. And I don't know if you know, but I'm a fucking diehard Yankees fan.
Oh, that's a weird one.
I got the on my middle finger.
How did that happen?
So growing up, none of my family ever watched any sports, you know. So third or fourth grade, it was like this would be like 2007 or 8. I was just in the living room. I was like, well, I'm gonna turn the TV on, and I accidentally clicked on the sports channel, and it was baseball. I was like, well, I've never watched this. Like, I'm gonna watch. And it was Yankees versus I think the Red Sox or something. So it was like a legendary rivalry, and I saw the pinstripes, and I saw Jeter, and I saw A-Rod, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, like I'm all in, and I've been a fucking I'm a diehard Yankees fan.
Man, rough go, man. We're Wes and I are Cubs fans though, and we almost just broke the franchise record for losses in a row. So it's bad over here too.
Right.
I came here. No, I literally moved to Colorado. I go, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with the fucking Cubs. They got me the World Series. Now they're pissing me off because of the ownership not wanting to spend money. I'm like, you know what? I love Nolan Arenado. Rockies have a beautiful ballpark. I go, I'm gonna be a Rockies fan. And not the day, but like right when we get here, they trade their potentially a Hall of Fame third baseman to the fucking Cardinals. I'm like, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh goddamn. I was just like, you know, it sucks. It's like I live here. The team sucks. The Chicago Cubs suck. The White Sox had the best record in baseball. They have a million injuries.
Yeah. The thing is, too, the Cubs were in first place. What, like 15 games ago?
Well, dude, the Yankees were fucking like the same thing. They were fucking killing it, and then like now nobody on their fucking team but Judge can hit. Like that. Like we have the opposite problem. Like we'll spend the money. It's just we spend way too much on the wrong dudes.
Yeah, it's not building up the internal talent in the farm system.
Yeah,
and
like I love Giancarlo Stanton, like fucking huge fan, but he's played, it feels like 10 games in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like you're paying him $30 million a year and he's never playing.
And also when you sign a pitcher like Garrett Cole, you expect something because that's such high money.
Yeah.
For a pitcher, knowing the back end of that contract is fucked. Like every pitcher.
Yeah.
Look what Jake Arrieta with the Cubs. I mean,
oh god,
he like won them the World Series and helped them with like back in 2016.
Pitched like every day.
And now he's got like a 7 ERA. He gives up 7 runs an inning. You're just like, oh, they put him on the injury list with a hamstring injury after he gave up 7 runs in another.
And then he was like, yeah, my stuff is still top tier. I'm not throwing the stuff that I have where I want it. It's like you can't pitch, man.
Baseball players are so weird. I was dying. I assume you were laughing too if you're on Twitter. All these, we posted some of them, but like the videos with the whole sticky situation and they're taking their belts off and they're all pissed off and they're just kind of like, what the hell is going on? And it's a weird sport. It's a fun sport to get into, but it's maddening because so many games.
Yeah.
Oh,
and if you're a fan, you're just kind of like,
yeah.
Have you been to a game at a home game for the Yankees or no?
No, I haven't, man. I've only been to a Yankees game at Old Ranger Stadium a couple years ago. I want to go, dude, so bad. We planned on going at least to tour it when we were there back in February, but then we broke down fucking like the day before we played New York, so we didn't get to play New York and tour or anything. But we tried to go to anytime we're in a town with a major league team, if they're playing, we try to go to the game. Like last time we were in Chicago, we were supposed to go to a Cubs game, but our sound check went up like getting pushed back 2 hours, and then it went up taking like 3 hours. So it was like we got off stage, literally had to put pants and t-shirts on and get back on the stage. So we didn't get to go, but we went to a Brewers game. And that was cool as shit. I mean, other than it feeling like there's fucking nothing up there.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like for me, like the one place, I haven't been to a ton of baseball stadiums, but I would love to go to Fenway. But yeah, I feel like a game at Wrigley's got to be like bucket list for you.
Yeah,
it's just so there's the smell and the experience, and you're in a neighborhood. You're just walking in a neighborhood and just boom, Wrigley, like it's just there.
That's so badass.
It's so cool. And
I've heard that like that Fenway and Wrigley are like the two stadiums that if you're a baseball fan you have to go to, like even if you don't like the fucking teams. Like it's just, I mean, what are they from, like 1906 and 1909 or something like that?
Like each over 100 years, I think.
Yeah, like it's, I mean, which is kind of scary but also badass.
Yeah, I mean,
You get
so,
to
yeah, I
piss
mean,
in a trough.
yeah, pissing for like a horse. Like, it's true. Like they don't fuck around with like.
They just put a bucket in the middle of the room at Wrigley. There's no bathroom.
That's funny. That'd be
Yeah.
funny as shit, dude.
But dude, we're almost at an hour here. It went by fast. A lot of laughs. I know you can't give any details on the album, but tour wise, I saw one tweet ask if you were coming to Nashville anytime soon for a show. I don't know.
We have in November, we have back-to-back nights at the Basement East.
Nice.
I don't remember the 2 dates, but it's middle November. But yeah, we got two shows in Nashville. So.
Rest of the year, get ready for the album, hit the road, start playing shows. It's got to feel good, right? To get out there again.
Man, it feels incredible to be back touring full time.
Yeah. But dude, Kolby, was amazing time having you.
Yeah.
We're huge fans.
Well, I'm a huge fan of y'all. Appreciate you having me.
Likewise, and we'll try to grab some beer sometime soon. Hopefully Koe Wetzel's not around to black us all out. But
yeah, I'll make sure he won't be there.
Right.
All right, man.
Thank you, Kolby. Appreciate
Stay safe,
you.
man.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much.
See you, dude.